Te Ota Ofa, and welcome to episode 3. Today we have the amazing Dr Sione Faletau. Why is he amazing? Well, he's studied for such a long time, but to get to a point where he's become an inspiration, not just in the fine arts area, but also just in the community as well, inspiring his next generation. So stick around, let's have a conversation in the Cul-de-sac with Dr Sione Faletau.
Stop that.
Dr Sione Faletau in the house, and he's going to be speaking a little bit about where he's from, his background, but also his journey, because he didn't just have those DRs just added. He didn't just photocopy them. There's been a journey of discovery for himself, but also learning. So Cul-de-sac Conversations is a bit about where I came from. You know, life was simpler. In the cul-de-sac, everyone knew everyone. You knew their neighbours' names. You knew what was going on in your street. But also, conversations were freely flowing. And so today, I got the doko in the house. And Sione, I've only known him for a little while, but the great thing is that, like any Pacific Islander, you kind of connect straight away. You have similar backgrounds, but at the same time, you have a very, very, very similar upbringing. But also, it's great just getting encouraged and sharpened by some of their thoughts around their own personal journey. So today, I'm going to introduce Mr. Sione, or Doctor. Just received his doctorate, his PhD. Dr. Sione Faletau is in the house. So, Sione, tell us, for all those who are watching this podcast, all those who are listening to this podcast, who are you? Now, what villages in Tongan do you come from? And also a little bit of where you grew up, you know, in the 90s, you know. We're going to hear that and we're going to just talk, man.
Yeah, so, cool.
Thank you, Dr.
Thanks, Joe, and thanks to the Cul-de-sac podcast for having me on.
No problem, man.
Having me on today. But yeah, as Joe mentioned, my name is Sione Faletau, but actually my full name is Sione Manufinau Faletau. And I'm named after my mom's father, so my grandfather, who in our family circles, everyone talks about him a lot and say he's a great man, and hopefully I maybe live up to the name, so to speak. But that's my name. I come from the villages of Tongan. That's where my father Sateki's from. Tongan is in Vava'u, so it's one of the outer islands.
Nice,
in
beautiful
the
place, beautiful place.
Yeah. Out in the north, closer to Samoa. One of the islands that's out in the north. And my mother's from Lakepa, Tongatapu, so she's from the mainland. And I grew up in Otara, been there my whole life. I am 31 years old and married. I have a daughter, and what else is there to me? I'm also a practicing artist and an aspiring academic at the same time.
Oh, that's so good, man.
And grew up in the 90s, you know, just the usual.
What was that like for you? Otara, 90s. What street?
Preston Road. Nice, and then we moved up off Preston Road to Kudu Road.
Yeah. Preston Heights.
Oh,
because you know how it goes up.
Yeah, it goes up the hill. Oh, yeah. They usually have there's Preston Road is such a long road, and there's
a long road.
There's like the end part, I guess, where the roundabout is, where Polyfest. And then there's the mid part of Preston Road, and then you have the top part of
That's
Preston.
the heights, man. That's the heights before you get to East Tamaki.
So I was living like borderline heights, but more so in the middle part of Preston Road, Ferguson area.
Yeah. I know that well. I know.
Yeah. It's funny you put it like that, but yeah.
I always, because my auntie used to work at Ferguson Dairy.
Oh.
Yeah. Pauwhi. So shout out Auntie. She's in Australia now. But yeah, I remember always going up there. And one of our good friends, Tutavake, he stayed in Kuru as well. So I always used to, because I used to work at TC. So that heights, so when you go up there, bro, because it starts flat, and then it goes up.
Starts rising. Yeah.
But I also hear people going, anyone that lived around Kuru used to say, oh, no, that's the best part of it. And then the guys at Dawson go, no, it's not. So, yeah, man.
I did all my schooling in Otara. Went to Flatbush Primary. Yep. And then went to Clover Park Middle School.
Got a shout out to all those. What was your favourite teacher? Who was your favourite teacher? Got a shout out because they could be. Put them on the spot. Everyone was your favourite.
Yeah, there was a lot of teachers there. I think probably one of the profound teachers that I had was when my first year in primary, Miss Aufai, a Samoan teacher. Yeah.
Nice.
She was like she was old lady, but at the same time she had like she was like a grandmother in a way. You know, she was like real nurturing like that. So she made my my first year of primary like pretty cool. Like, like I think starting out in primary, it is a really kind of traumatic experience for young kids, you know. But I guess, shout out to Miss Aufai.
Yeah.
If she's still alive.
This is the thing, because she's probably watching this or listening to this and going, man, he's a doctor. He's got his doctorate. He's worked hard. Yeah. You know, but she wouldn't have thought that when you came into her class.
Yeah,
you know?
True.
But no, part of your story.
Yeah.
So good, man.
And then went to Clover and Tangaro College, and then I finished up at Otahu. Yeah, so I've been just in the south side.
So you went the best college in Otara, even though there's only two. There's a third one now, Te Aroha.
Te Aroha,
it's known as a college, but Hillary and you guys.
TC, far out. Yeah.
So what are some of your memories, man? Like growing up and like obviously schooling, but what are some of the things that made Otara in the 90s good for you in terms of growing up in that, besides your other commitments to family and your and church and stuff like that, because obviously you're heavily involved in those things with growing up, but what are some of the things that stood out for you?
It was the people,
Nice.
You know, a lot of my friends I grew up with, you know, they make Otara. You know, it's the people that make Otara.
Nice.
Yeah, and I guess just the memories that and the relationships you build and you make over the years through high school and all that stuff, you know, you kind of you make along the way. And just you know, like you go into the shop and then you haven't seen that guy, you know, your friend, and ages, and it's still the same, you know.
So your conversation takes off because you don't feel like it's being distant.
It's still the same.
So true,
everyone's. I guess, just the people, they make Otara, you know. Everyone's still the same, you know. No one's like, I'm too cool to know you now. You know, that sort of
friendly.
Yeah, that and the markets, you know, going to the markets and the food.
It's always the food.
Yeah, it's always
dangerous.
The food. Yeah, harder.
Because a little bit about your family, like obviously if mum and dad's still around. And siblings, do you have siblings?
Yeah, there's 5 of us, including me.
Yeah.
So I have...
Are you the favourite? Your siblings are going to be watching. Don't say anything.
I know. There's my elder sister, and then my brother, and then me.
Yeah.
And then my younger sister, and then my younger brother. So I'm pretty much in the middle.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And all of them still in Otara or moved out?
My sister's married. My younger sister, she's married and she's moved out.
Yeah.
Just my sister and my brother that's left at home with my parents. Yeah.
But they're all still in New Zealand?
Yeah, we're all still in New Zealand. Yeah.
So, no, I'm going to start this question off and like how did it feel? Because obviously you just received your doctorate letter last year. Was it last year or beginning of this year?
Beginning of this year, yeah.
Like how did that feel? Because obviously we want to dive into a bit of that history.
Yeah.
But how did we're going to talk about the moment that you got that? Because I saw it shared on social media amongst your friends and those who follow you on Instagram.
Yeah.
But How was that for your mum and dad? Because obviously everything we do in our polycultures is obviously on the back of their sacrifices.
Yeah, big
So
time.
how was that moment for Dr Sione Faletau when you presented that to them? How was that moment?
It was a moment of relief.
Yeah.
And yeah, elation. There's like, our parents are so invested into our education and our lives at large, and they've followed you and supported you like so many years. And, I felt like they were doctors at the same time.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it was like an achievement for myself, but not only for myself, but my village, for everyone that was a part of that journey. And
So good.
and so it was a massive like relief. Just
It's amazing you use the word relief.
Yeah. Oh man.
Like I can imagine, we'll talk about the journey, but I find it interesting that you use that word relief. But I can understand the work and the effort you've had to over so many years to get to this point.
Yeah, big time.
And the siblings, how were they reaction? He goes, "Oh, it's just a piece of paper." No, but obviously they wouldn't say that. But like, how was that reaction? Because that's such an honouring thing, especially for you to work your whole life and study your whole life, or most of that portion of your life, to get to that place. Like, what was the feedback from because I see some of your friends just sharing it, because they're all proud, because like you said, there was a village that raised you, But man, in that moment, what was some of the reaction from your siblings and close friends?
Everyone was so happy. Everyone knew the journey that I was on, and again, they shared in that relief with me, and also the happiness as well. Yeah, my parents was the happiest. My immediate family, my siblings, real proud and happy, and I was proud and happy for them too, because this is not only mine; it's theirs as well. Yeah,
your success is their success.
Yeah.
And your
largely,
wife?
Yeah, my wife too.
Shout out to your wife now, man.
Yes, big shout out to my wife and my daughter.
We did it.
We did it, and a large part of it was always the motivation to show my daughter that these things are possible, through love, support, and hard work.
Yeah.
These things are attainable for our people.
Yeah.
And for it to take it to the next level.
Yeah. That's powerful, man. So powerful. But that's the same, like looking back, that's the same kind of thoughts that your parents done with you, because obviously them working so hard, and also being able to put food on the table, put you in a place where you can actually find opportunity. It's the same thing you're doing for your daughter. It's like you want her to see for herself that it's possible.
Exactly.
So tell me, let's take us back. Let's rewind this all the way back, because it didn't just happen. It didn't just appear in your emails. It didn't just happen. So tell us, how did the story, and you can talk a little bit about what you got your doctorate in at the same time, but when did that journey of study start? And I guess on the back of that, how did it, why did you go down that track for yourself?
Education is massive in my family, especially my mom and my father. They both reiterated education is key, and also church. So it was these two things that I guess those were my two pillars, so to speak. And my education journey, all my motivations started when I saw my mom graduate.
Yeah, wow.
I was still in primary that time. I think I was probably 10.
And your mum got bachelor in education? Or?
She's got a bachelor in commerce, business.
Business, wow.
Yeah, so she helps my dad run the mechanic workshop. So there's this partnership that they kind of built up and have.
So that moment stood out for you?
Yeah. So it was seeing my mom walk down. So they have like a graduation march from Old Government House or whatever onto Queen Street and then up into the theatre so my dad drove us up to the car park. I think it was a car park overseeing the street.
Yeah.
And that's when I saw my mom. But we couldn't go to the ceremony because there were only limited people, but that was the only time I could see my mum.
Wow.
Yeah. And so that was the motivation. I was like, I'm going to be like mum.
So good. So at that moment,
Yeah.
right then when you saw mum graduate, that was it.
Yeah.
You said in your mind, I'm going to do it as well.
Yeah.
But you didn't just stop at just graduating at one thing, eh?
Yeah, it was like, and over time, just seeing my sister graduate motivated me at the same time. You know, it was like, yeah, mom did it, my sister did it, yeah, I'm next. So it was like this, I guess, progression of motivation, so to speak. And then, so it started, way back in primary, seeing my mom graduate. And then in my studies, when I was going through undergraduate, my sister graduated with her bachelor's and then her master's in health science.
Wow.
And that kind of, it's that same motivation, you know. And then,
And what did you get your bachelor in? For those who are listening.
Yeah. So I, for my degree program, it's 4 years.
Yeah.
And on the fourth year, you can either do like the bachelor's or you can do honors. So I gunned it for honors. So
Brilliant.
So for honors, you just do shortcut to 1 year masters.
Yeah.
And then so that was the pathway I took. So I gunned it for honors, got into the program. And then as I was sitting in my graduation ceremony, got my certificate and I was like, what's next? Immediately I was already...
So you're thinking about the next thing
the
already.
next thing, And then sitting in my master's graduation, what's next?
Oh, wow.
Same thing. And
Such a
then...
good mindset, man. It's almost like a growth mindset, eh? It's like, don't stop here.
Yeah, don't stop. Yeah, and at the same time, my mum was a big motivator and supporter. She was like, yeah, keep going.
Man.
And so my academic journey wasn't always the greatest. I wasn't like the smartest in school. I wasn't getting awards or certificates. I was, I think my work ethic was just like, just do it. Just keep going. Up until like I got to my senior years, then I kind of went off track. I started wagging. I was like a real bad compulsive wagger.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, TC.
Yeah, TC.
Oh, did Mash come find you?
Man, Mash was like,
Brian Mash.
Yeah, Mash. I remember he would mock me. He would like, not mock, but he would like kind of
Give you a hard time?
Give a hard time. Like he'll be like, bro, you live down on Kudu Road and you can't even make it to school.
For those who don't know, Kudu Road is only probably less than a K away from TC.
Yeah, it's probably like a 10-minute walk to school. But I ended up, going a different pathway. And I guess the turning point for me was when my mom got called in. And I can't remember who it was that she had the meeting with. Yeah. But my mom was crying in that meeting. And
was it with Nairi?
Probably or something, And
Ashmore,
I didn't like, hearing about my mom or seeing my mom cry because of me. And that's when I, pulled my head and then decided to give my my senior years a real good go.
That's good, man.
So at Otahu College, that's where I finished up.
Yeah.
And so those 2 years.
So you went from TC and you transferred over to...
Yeah.
We call it transfer, eh?
Scholarship.
We all know scholarship. we all know it wasn't a scholarship, but it was just transfer for educational purposes.
So that's where I really knuckled down in my senior years, and I actually gave it a good go, and then got my university entrance, passed level 3, and I applied to like 3 different degree programs. Bachelor of Arts majoring in English, and Bachelor of Music majoring in History and Literature, and Bachelor of Fine Arts. And at the time, it was a hard decision to make, because these things I was like kind of dabbling in high school.
Because the thing for those who don't know is that Sione was a very talented musician as well. So he's a jack of all trades in terms of the creative space. So not just an artist, but he's also a musician as well, which is also an artist, but different sphere of influence. So.
Yeah, definitely. And it came down to like making a decision on which pathway. So me and Mum sat down and we prayed, and then we felt like fine arts was the pathway, and then ended up tricking down that path.
So good, man. But how long was it from the first day that you started? Because what did you study? What institute?
I was at Elam School of Fine Arts, but that's part of Auckland Uni. Yeah.
So what was the time frame from that first day to when you got the email with your doctorate, the certificate? Like, what's the period of time?
Oh, spanning probably
25.
I know, it's such a long time. I think it was like I finished up 09 at OC, and then started the following year, 2010, 10 up until now.
So 11.
Yeah, 11. Yeah,
12 years.
12 years, so to speak. Yeah, I took a gap year after masters, worked for a bit, and then went back into it. Yeah. So probably
Incredible, man. But you done it.
Yeah.
You done it, man. That's the main thing, isn't it? Because sometimes the journey may be long, but the outcome, that's what you're aiming for.
Yeah, definitely.
But the relief. Now we understand that comment. You're more relieved than anything else that it happened. Like for you now, it's given you, because my older brother uses this term, education is an equalizer. It gives you the opportunity that you could not have before. And now for you, what now opportunities? No, obviously you're in that space now, and I've seen some of your amazing work around art, and also the using technology. Can you speak a little bit about that? How that came about? Like, was that for your PhD? Just the digital work around your cultural background. Like, give us a little bit about history of that.
My art practice. So after high school, I went into Elam as a painter because. Sorry,
that's all right. Some water there for you, need.
At Otahu College, and I guess around the South Side schools, we weren't kind of exposed to photography or sculpture or installations or just video graffiti art. Yeah, it was like mainly just painting and drawing. Yeah. And so when I went to Elam, then I found out all these other disciplines of art. Yeah. And over my undergraduate years, I kind of dabbled in a bit of everything, and then kind of just finding my footing, so to speak. And so I started as a painter, then ended up as a digital artist at the end. But so it was like this journey of discovery, so to speak. I've
like, how did you get to that? I'm just trying to get my head on. Like, painter, digital artist. Like some of the, if you don't know, search up Sione Faletau art displays, and you'll see it pop up. Some of the work that he's done is incredible around using digital, I guess, technology to enhance your artwork. But to go from there, like, how did something just click one day?
Yeah, it actually happened over COVID. So throughout my whole doctoral studies, I was doing installation, sculptural, performance work. And then in the last block or last part of my year, COVID hit. Yeah. COVID hit, and then I couldn't be in studio to use the lighting studio. I couldn't be in at uni to use the certain things that I needed. Yeah. And then, but we were given a computer. So we were given a computer to work from home. And that's when I started making sketches and stuff like digitally. And then that's when I found my thing, eh?
Yeah, that's so good, man.
Yeah.
Because you think to yourself, I'll just wait until everything opens back up again. Yeah, but in reality, you wouldn't have known. It would have been 2 years later.
Yeah, that's
so you just got on with it.
Yeah.
You had to pivot. But I just can't get my head around, and I think you already kind of found yourself in that space where you saw the computer. There was no turning back because this was the only option you had. Yeah. Like when you designed it, because I've seen a lot of the there's music that's added to it. The patterns change and all that stuff. Like, take us through, because so there's probably some creatives or even those who are studying their PhD. Like, for those who are going for this journey of don't just stop. You mentioned it already. Like, how did you what's your creative process from opening up a computer, trying to do your same designs?
Yeah.
Like, how did it go from there, 18 months later, now develop into this completely amazing digital artwork that's now displayed or was displayed on buildings?
Yeah.
Like, take us through that journey, because I'm sure these people listening to this or watching this, they're going, like, how did he get from that to, like, what was your thinking around that?
To be honest, Joe, like,
You didn't know.
to be honest, I don't know, but I prayed for this.
Yeah.
I prayed for it. You know, I asked God, because He's the creator. You know, I see His creations every day, and you know, God's the creator of everything. So I prayed for these things, and even up until now, I didn't even know myself how I got to these things, but it just happened.
Yeah.
The work that I do with the digital thing, I've always been surrounded by kupesi patterns at home.
So those are indigenous Tongan designs. Just for those who are non-Tongan. It's beautiful artwork. Historical stuff.
Yeah, as you said, historical, and a lot of symbols that mean things, you know, and I was surrounded by these things, and I wanted to kind of create something that's new, nostalgic and new at the same time. And traditionally, kupesi is reserved for women.
Yeah.
Or women make kupesi for ngatu or tapa cloth.
Yeah.
And that's what you see on the vast amount of tapa that Tongans make.
That's right.
Yeah, and I wanted to, I guess, bring kupesi into a new direction, and I started playing with sound, because I've always been intrigued with sound, and I've used sound a lot in my art practice.
Yeah.
And so these things kind of just still linger around.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
it's in you, eh?
It's in, yeah. And so I started playing around with these what's it called? These producer type applications. There you have Logic and all that stuff. Shout out to John Langi, Sione Langi. He's showed me quite a bit around the audio thing.
That's so good, eh?
Yeah.
Sione. And shout out to Pepe coming.
Yeah.
Having a baby soon. So
your father.
And Lotte.
Yeah, Lotte too.
We know them well, so that's so good, man.
Yeah.
But he helped you a little bit around this, the audio and
around the sound thing, because the thing that I work with is I extract the audio wave spectrum from sound.
Yeah.
So these range in different frequencies, like high, medium, and low. And as I was talking about material, traditional material to create kupesi is from coconut fibers and husks and stuff like that. And so these frequencies become my material that I could
incredible, man.
create my art from. And that kind of led on to big projects like the Light Ship project, where I recorded the sounds of the ports of Auckland, the Waitemata Harbour, and the surrounding Auckland CBD, and started creating patterns from these sounds.
Man.
Yeah.
So did you just go out and just take your mic and your...
Yeah, I have a portable Zoom H1N recorder. That's my kind of...
And you just place it and you just capture the sounds of the city and the dock, obviously, at the wharf there.
Yeah.
And then you take that home. Do you obviously upload it onto the Logic Pro program and then redesign it?
Yeah, there's things that John has showed me that you can kind of tap into the frequencies a bit more. You know, there's a bit of curating into the frequency area, and then from that, then it goes into another application, another kind of video editing thing, and then it goes through to Final Cut. Final Cut, After Effects. Yeah. So After Effects, that's where I kind of generate my thing from. So there's like this kind of gradual process of, and I like to think of it like just like how our art forms are made. You know, there's a process to it. It's not just like bring it in.
Yeah, that's right. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
You actually got to work hard to make sure if it looks right, but also it feels right here.
Yeah.
Because obviously you wanted to achieve something digitally different.
Yeah.
But also historically honouring as well.
Yeah, definitely.
But when I saw it, and I saw a few posts that you put up, and the way that you capture the frequencies and the sound and the changing of the patterns, man, it was just powerful, man.
Yeah, it was like real interesting because it was like a learning thing for me at the same time. And then I'll be like discovering new things and I'll be like buzzing out even more. And I'll be like, thank you, Lord, that's you. Hey.
But that's a journey with the creative, eh? Like, you're going, wow, that's a...
Yeah.
What happened? You know, it's like, wow, this is awesome.
Man, so many things have come about since I've asked God for this idea.
Yeah.
And the opportunities just come flooding in there.
Man, I keep on seeing you on social media pop up, and you either got a scholarship or a grant or just. But I think, you know, you're only seeing the fruit of the investment of the you know, the sowing that you did.
Yeah,
you know, you could have said back in that room when your mum was being told by the principal, whoever was, that Sione's got a tidy as apito, but obviously you decided to do a transfer to Otahu to I guess give you a different environment. But you could have said in that, and when your mum said that to you, you could have turned around and said, "Nah, I'm gonna take a different path."
Yeah.
But you stuck with it.
Yeah.
You pushed yourself, but also you learned from the experiences of your mum, your sis, and then now just being able to be an example to other people. It's really powerful. I think it's important for those who are listening just to understand that it does take time, but it will happen.
Yeah, definitely. It's that resilience.
Yeah.
You know, might not happen tomorrow, the next month, but just keep pushing.
12 years, bro.
Yeah.
12 years. So what are some of the things that you kind of, because I really want to tap into that, because there's a lot of young academics who, or want to be academics, you know, they had this this view that you go to university and they just walk out with something. But sometimes the journey is different for a lot of people. You know, it's not like, I don't know if you've seen that illustration, that straight line. It's not that. You got your dips, you got your roller coaster moments, you got your stop, pause, go and find a job to pay the bills.
Yeah.
And then you go back into the whole thing of learning again. Like in terms of how people view that, what are some of the things that you took on board? Obviously your faith is important to you, your friends around you, but what are the self-care things that you put in place to help you build resilience over that 12-year period? Because if you think about it, that is a long time.
Yeah.
Now on the back of it, hindsight, you've done it. It's awesome.
But
what are some things you can encourage others to do?
Oh, man.
That's helped you, you know, because... and you've already kind of framed it already, not to give up.
I think for myself, I'm more of a physical learner. There's different ways of learning and stuff, and I took a lot from like physical training. And going through that and knowing that I got through that. Yeah, sweet. What's the next challenge? Like, you know, I think it was just me putting myself in situations where it's sort of I'm in a place of struggle, you know, and at the same time it tests my mental fortitude, so to speak. And so like going through physical training and stuff like that, back then I was like, man, I used to train until I'm like spewing out stomach bile.
Oh, man.
I was like so obsessed with training back then. And I think those I guess mindsets still stuck with me up until now. You know, a large part of it was always self-talk to myself, like, I can do this. I got this. Man. And at the same time, when I couldn't do it, I'll pray. You know, and for myself, prayer is massive for me. Man, so many times, you know, I found myself like cornered or like backed up against the wall, but as soon as I pray, things become clearer to me and stuff like that. And I think part of the journey being in fine arts is, So when I was back in high school, I'm taking this all the way back. Back in high school, I wasn't much of an artist. It was just a subject where me and my boys were just
And Miss Fata's class.
Miss Fata's class and stuff. Yeah,
Patsy Fata,
Yeah,
art
yeah.
teacher legend at Tangoro College.
yeah, and yeah. So art was just like a therapeutic thing. Eh?
Yeah.
It was just like a thing. Just
And
meet
the
up with
art room is where you
boys.
go and get your fades.
Yeah, pretty much.
At lunchtime.
Yeah, so like in my senior years in high school at OC, that's when it was still like this kind of like kickback period where I just meet up the boys, do drawing and stuff, and then I got to uni and then went down that path of fine arts. I didn't know anything about the art history side and all that stuff. So there's a lot of things to do with fine arts, not just making art. There's a lot of theory behind it. And I didn't have that kind of training or knowledge around that sort of thing. And that's where I had to rely on God for that knowledge.
Yeah.
And
that's where you say prayer was important
yeah,
for you.
prayer was real important for me. So I'll take my assignments into the library cubicle and I'll pray over it.
Yeah.
I'll pray over my assignments, and an hour or two later, things start clicking.
Yeah.
And a lot of the success and stuff that I have, I can't take credit for because I prayed for these things, and it's all God.
Yeah.
And I say that with the whole heart.
Yeah.
And so all my struggles and all that stuff. Prayer and just all these things that I've built up over the years kind of helped me within my studies. And at the same time, it's you want to make your parents proud, you want to make your family proud, your village proud, and it's these things, these motivations.
So was that, because we hear that all the time, in terms of people coming through and talking about their motivation was the expectations of other people, especially parents. But did that expectation become a weight for you when you were studying at some point in time? Because you talk about, being stuck in the corner, thinking, I need to really go pray now because I'm getting overwhelmed by the need and the expectation. Because that sneaks up on you, eh?
It does,
points
man.
and you don't realise that, hey, there's some stuff that you put on yourself.
Yeah.
But also some stuff that people expect of you.
Yeah.
Like, did you feel that at any point while you're studying? I'm sure you did.
Yeah.
I don't want to speak into it, but like, can you just talk about some of those moments and also just explain how you were able to guide yourself out of it?
Definitely. It was, I felt that largely after I won the Prime Minister's Award.
Yeah.
So I won the Prime Minister's Award in 2015 or something. I think it was after my master's.
Yes.
Yeah. And then
That's a big weight too.
Yeah, a massive weight, and it felt like I was on this pedestal that people will see me, and if I didn't reach that, they'll think less of me, that sort of thing. And I struggled a bit with that, being the pastor's son, winning the Prime Minister's Award, graduated from this pedestals already, and then
all eyes on you, eh?
and at the same time, it was a massive load on me, mentally as well. It felt like during those times I was checking out. I was like, stuff it.
Yeah.
And at times I'll regather myself again. Yeah. And then we were like, nah, all good.
Yeah.
I'll be like that. I'll be like dipping in and out, sort of thing. And it was now that you bring it up and thinking about it and reflecting on it. Those expectations was like so high, and I think I put myself like that. And in a sense,
But for you, I'm just thinking, were those some of those expectations? Because even though our parents have expectations on us, do you magnify those expectations on yourself? Like, did you feel like you're making it worse by
Yeah,
Thinking
yeah.
of overthinking it.
Yeah, overthinking. Oh man.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you're the next great hope. You know?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
you're doing so well for our family. You know, you're going to represent us.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
all those things are in the conversations everywhere in different communities. But obviously, with our community around the Pacifica, it's a very heightened thing.
Yeah.
But did you feel like you were putting more pressure on yourself?
Definitely. I think I was putting more pressure on myself than anyone else.
Yeah, because I can imagine your mum coming to you, don't worry, son.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
don't
yeah.
worry about it.
Yeah.
Because I can imagine even the compassion that's come out already around who your mum is.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe a lot of the time we put that pressure on ourselves. You know?
Definitely. Yeah. As you said, it's that self thing, eh?
Mm.
Yeah, and again, it was like this thing that I had was like it's up to me to come out of that.
Yeah.
You know, like yeah, so it was like this thing that I just kind of just prayed about as well, you know, and just released it. Just yeah, I didn't have to like live up to
Yeah,
anyone's
that's good.
expectations and stuff like that, and just getting my head around that because it's been like years of it, so
Yeah,
to
I
speak.
can
Yeah, you
imagine.
know, and
Or 12 years or who
yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Mm.
And it's, I guess, when you look at it, you're now finished, you know, and now we understand when you said that whole thing of I feel relief in it, you know, I feel in a sense of release as well, you know,
Yeah,
like I
yeah.
don't have to carry the weight, you know, I've done it,
Yeah.
but now it's really, what are some of the things that you can take from, you know, now that I guess what I'm trying to say is that it really, you're now got your doctorate, you're now a doctor in fine arts, but now for those who may not go down this route, you know, for those who are listening to this who are from the south side, who maybe not academics, eh? But who heard already that
Yeah.
after your transfer, you woke up and you realize. But I'm just thinking, part of this whole podcast is that what are some of the things, practical things you can encourage others with that may not take this route down
Yeah,
the
yeah.
creative space, but maybe have some thoughts around, I want to do something. What's your encouragement for them?
I think one thing I got from my coach, shout out to Danny Nemani.
Give all the shout outs
awesome,
today.
yeah, he's an awesome coach. And I remember him saying one training, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. You can have a bad start to the session, or you know, you can come in lethargic and have a really grumbly training session and stuff, but you can always change that around, you know. And yeah, I've always like kind of kept that as well, going through my studies, you know, thinking back to my transfer. You know, I had a bad start.
That's right.
And then, you know, you can always finish strongly. And I think that's real universal.
Yeah.
It's not how you start, it's how you finish. And it's up to you how you want to finish. You know, you can finish, you can pinpoint success however you want it to be. You know, so the finish line is up to you, how you want to finish, you know.
As long as you
Yeah.
finish.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
could take 5, 6, 12 years. But as long as you push yourself to finishing.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, I gain a lot of that stuff as well from my father. You know, my father's like, if you start something, finish it. Yeah, yeah. You can't go in halfway because that's going to be reflective of everything else you're going to do.
Oh, that's good.
You know, and so these things I gathered and kept, you know, I guess, that helped me on my journey. And hopefully it's universal and for everyone else in different pathways, you know.
And I'm sure we'll, because the whole thing, because that's been coming up in other conversations around, you know, just start, but also what you're saying is just finish. You know, just, I guess, make sure that there's a turning point that you can actually, and if your turning point was in that office with that teacher and your mum, but then there is a place where you can turn and actually make a decision to finish what you started. And I love that advice from your dad, because that's common Pacific Island advice. You gotta, put the effort in, but make sure it's done well. You know, finish well.
Yeah. Oh, there's a quote by Quincy as well. It's all Quincy Jones. It's along the same lines. Oh, I can't remember it. But shout out to Quincy Jones.
Quincy Jones, hope you watch it.
I'll try and find that quote. But it was a really profound quote as well. I didn't know the order of how it went.
Yeah.
Oh, shucks,
That's all good.
See if I can find it.
All good. But you know,
Anyways.
as we try and find it, the thing is that we look at dreams and aspirations in your life. Your dream was just to finish part of your dream was to finish that study part of your life.
Yeah.
That you now have achieved. But what is next for Sione Faletau? Dr. Sione Faletau. It's probably the first podcast we've used that, eh?
Yeah,
that
yeah.
You've used that title.
Yeah.
Which you can now. So in terms of, I guess for you now, what is next? What's the next aspiration? Because now you're saying before you finish your postgrad or your honours and you said, next thing, masters, and then next thing after that. Now, what is the next thing for Sione?
Next thing, I want to go back and do a postdoctoral study. I want to do another 3. That's another 3 years, we'll say. But I guess that's another level of studies. I felt like the studies that I was going through was still new and is still ongoing, and I want to develop it more, and just I want to be in a space of education. I want to educate our people, and ushering the next generation of creatives into the space, because when I was going through art school and all that stuff, it was a massive culture shock. It's a whole different world, a whole different space, whole different vibe and people. Being that gateway for our young people and the next generation. And just want to be in those spaces. As I remember sitting in lectures and stuff and being like, I wish I had someone, someone of my stature, to be in those spaces. I guess those mirrors, those reflections that you can see.
Now you've spoken about mirrors before. And it's powerful. Can you speak a little bit into it? Because it's really just, I want to see a reflection of myself.
In those spaces.
So would you go down that space of being a lecturer or a professor, or I actually don't know, I don't know what options are available, but what kind of area would you see yourself? You speak about education, obviously that's inherited from your mum's passion for education. But where you see yourself, what platforms do you think that are available for you now that you know that you can use as a mirror?
I was doing a bit of lecturing and tutoring back in my doctoral years, and again when I was talking about these mirrors, I only had a handful of Pacific students. But they wouldn't turn up to the other classes, but they'll turn up to the classes that I would do. And I guess so. Again, it was like seeing those mirrors and those spaces. They reflect them. And I guess that helped them to turn up to class, do their work, and they ended up being like great artists.
It's incredible, eh?
It's mirrors and people that you can relate to and reflect on.
They get your jokes. Because sometimes when you're joking as a Pacific Islander, it doesn't come across well to others.
It's a different humor.
And so now we understand when kids are, when young people are looking at the mirror in front of them and they say a joke, at least you go, okay. I understand where you're coming from. But that's brilliant that you want to be in that space. I just think it's powerful because obviously a lot of that space is opening up a lot more. But it's really just, I guess, where you fit in that, and also now that you want to study again. Man, you're going to study until you How many doctorates do you want to go? It's incredible. I just love your drive, but also this the never giving up attitude of actually I want to learn more. I wanna grow more.
That thing about growth, it's massive, and those are one of the things I want to instill into my daughter's growth. You can stuff up today, but there's another chance to grow.
Wow.
And those things are real important, I guess, to being human at the same time.
Yeah. But also just being able to listen to you today, and think to yourself, like in this podcast, we've been able to cover a lot of your story. But the brilliant thing about it is that we know where you came from and where you are now. Like, trust me, you'll be getting phone calls from TC to come and inspire their students around actually getting your doctorate and also studying and all that stuff. But also OC will probably be calling you. Yeah. But also your primary schools that you went through on Preston, they actually, or around that area in Otara. But do you feel like a hero to some of these people, or you don't use that term? Like, let's talk about heroes. Like, other people you may be, because I know to you, a lot of your friends, your inspiration, and there's no doubt about it, because when those boys started sharing like it's all on Instagram, it's like, because like you said, you were inspiration. At the same time, it was a village, you did it together, your success, their success. But do you feel like, if you don't want to use that term, do you feel like you can be a champion for those people? Yeah,
definitely. I have a yes and no to that.
Yeah, I can imagine, because your humble side, which is Pacifica, it comes out of, and also your upbringing, your faith, that tells you, that pulls you back slightly, going, I don't want to sound arrogant. It's but it's powerful, man. I think it's so powerful that you step up into those spaces,
Yeah, it's like, man, I can be a role model. I can be someone to look up to. But at the same time, I'm really human. I'll probably stuff up somewhere down the line, and they'll be like, oh, that's the role model that I looked up to. Yeah. You know what I mean? There's a yes and a no to that for me. But I'm more than happy to be a role model and, be a person like that for people.
But like listening to you now, I understand that, because we've heard in media over the last few years, last few months recently, it's one thing to look up to someone, but they're still frail, they're still finite, use that word, and they're still they can still make mistakes, and in some cases some really bad mistakes, and so I understand you're kind of treading on that very carefully. I want to be inspiration, but I don't want to be the person that everyone looks to the next minute. Make a mistake, and then they go, okay, my hero is no longer my hero. So, thank you for your honesty around that, but I just thank you for your humility around that as well, just being humble in that space as well. But I love the fact that you can also still say, I want to continue to grow. I want to continue to inspire. So, we're just looking at, just mindful of time and that, and we'll honour your time, but who are your heroes? Who are your heroes, man?
Man, my parents, man, they came here not knowing a lick of English, and making something of themselves, running a business for over 20 years. So my parents are my heroes, and my family. There's a lot of heroes in my family, and my coach. There's a lot of people that I see as heroes that kind of saved me. Or saved me by giving me instructions, saved me by encouraging me. Those things. And
the thing is that you will never know this, because there'll probably be some young kids in Otara at a school when they go, because they do this all the time, and they do projects, social projects around who's Otara heroes, who's South Auckland heroes, and there's no doubt at some point in time your face will be up on one of their projects, because it's happened to a lot of friends that I've known that they wouldn't even think that they become a project, for some of these kids. But it's even in that, it's so powerful just to know that you may not think that, and you look at your heroes and you think, man, it's inspiring for you, but also just know that the effect you have will probably be never seen, but there's probably one day a young Tongan boy that would actually say, hey, Dr Sione Faletau. And then people go, oh, who's that guy? And then they get to do a project on this local hero for them. So it will happen, man. There's no doubt about it. It always happens. Inspirational stories come back to the community that a lot of those people grow up in. But I just want to thank you, man. Thank you for stepping up, being a reflection for others to see so they can see themselves, but also at the same time for pushing that boundary with the digital space, So are you going to do any more displays? Like, are you looking at doing more exhibitions?
I have I'm part of a group exhibition happening in May, I think. That's
May 2020, 2022, just forward, because obviously this will be on YouTube, so people might go, oh, I missed it.
Yeah. Oh,
so tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so it's a group exhibition over at the Gus Fisher Gallery. So the Gus Fisher Gallery is part of Auckland University, and actually Gus Fisher building was the first, I think, television station.
Oh, wow.
In New Zealand. Yeah. So it's got a pretty strong history. Yeah. And so we're responding to this building or architecture. Yeah. And I'm responding through sound waves. And so I'm creating some artworks around, I guess, the relationship that people had with the building over time. Because architecture is like, it's another level, another layer to unpack. But anyways, so that's happening at the Gus Fisher, and I have another exhibition in Wellington, Mason Screen. I think it's like a walkway where a lot of people commute to and from work. And again, I'm responding to that site with sound.
So be it installation?
Yeah, installation, there's another one, but I can't put my finger on it.
But that's so good.
Somewhere in the pipelines.
But it's so good that you got some, like, because you could say, I'm finished now. Done. Call me doctor, what else? But I love the fact that you just continue to roll it out. Yeah. In terms of your creativity, your artwork, your spaces that you're working in, but also this whole thing of capturing frequency.
Yeah.
It's so good that you've done that, man.
Yeah. It's been... I actually started a new role. I'm working at Auckland Council for Mangere Arts Centre, so I'm the gallery coordinator there.
Oh, so good.
Yeah,
so it started already.
Yeah, it's already started. Yeah.
Oh man,
so that's it's been good to like work in that space, and I see myself in that space to kind of usher in the next generations of creatives around South Auckland and the Pacific at large.
Yeah,
and. So I'm like in this other role of admin. So there's like, So there's like the artist side, and then you're learning the admin side of art and what goes on behind the scenes. And man, a massive appreciation.
That's the other side of the brain, eh? The structure and the admin, all that stuff. Yeah. But hey, what a great place to learn. Yeah. Because you're surrounded by art all the time. Definitely. But not just display art, installations. There's music there as well. There's concerts. And community functions they have there all the time. So what a good space to work in, man.
Real lively.
You scored it. You scored it, Doko. That's so young. I'm encouraged by that. And it's just down the road from me, so I might come and visit.
Cool. Yeah, come
visit
through.
Well. Oh, man, it's so good. I'm so stoked that you actually been able to take what you've learnt, your experiences, but also now to actually continue to outwork it in your life. So, man, we're going to wrap up, but I want to invite you to send a message for those who are maybe studying, even our younger generation.
Yeah.
I love the concepts of not giving up that you mentioned already, but what's some final words or some final affirmations that you want to just share with those watching, because it's going to be on YouTube, it's going to be on Spotify and listening to this. What's some of your encouragement for them as well? Because obviously the journey is there. We've heard your past. We've heard that you can turn things around, but also, I guess, what's one more, because we've heard so much gold in this conversation, but what's one more gold nugget that people can take home? And not chicken nuggets, because not chicken nuggets, but gold. What's one more gold nugget that people can take home from this conversation?
For myself, personally, there's things that I missed out on because I was fearful of things, you know, and that would be to just gun it, just do it. You know, if you're thinking about starting something, start it, just do it. And I think it's just that whole thing around, you see it on Nike, just do it.
That's right.
know?
Don't think, just do it.
Just do it. Because, man, there's so many things that I've passed up because some things that I was fearful of, you know, and I wish I should have just, you know, took that step, you know, and that would be it. Just start. Whatever you have in your heart, in your mind, just start. Just do it.
So good, man. So brilliant. And I love the fact that you can actually testify of it. You know that in that moment you made a decision, and now all these years later you've now enjoying the fruit of that. But the cool thing is that it's allowed you to have other platforms now, because you're not just working in Auckland. You get to travel, and when the borders open properly with other restrictions lifted off other countries, man, it'll give you more scope to kind of get out there and take a lot of what you've learnt to the wider world. Like, before we close up, what's a dream that you would, for yourself and for not just South Auckland, but for young people coming through? What's a dream? What's an aspiration you want for them? And we've spoken about kind of that final message, but what's a dream? What do you see in your heart? What do you envision for the future?
Man,
I know there's so much in that.
It's a lot to think about.
It's such a load.
But I think it would be to see people, you know, achieve their dreams. You know, I wanna be able to see my daughter live her dreams. I want to see, you know, the next generation take it to the next level. Take it from where I've, you know, where I'm at. There's another level you can go to.
It's good.
You know, I guess that's
so good. And I love the fact that, you know, your ceilings become someone else's floors. That they can stand on your shoulders and your daughter, and it is inspirational. One day, unless YouTube takes it down, one day she'll look back on this, you know, when she's a teenager, when she's making that key decisions, she'll go, man, my dad was one of those people that didn't give up, you know. So I just want to thank you, Toko. Honestly, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day, now especially for your new role, but also coming and sharing some of this amazing wisdom. And you're still so young as well. But the thing is that you've only just begun in terms of your, I guess, your career, in terms of what you can now expand on in your life. So well done, man. So proud of you. Because remember, your success is our success as well. So thanks for joining us in Cul-de-sac Conversations. Really appreciate you. Appreciate the example you're setting for not just Pacifica, but even young learners out there. Because remember, South Auckland's not made of just Polynesians. There's a multitude of cultures there. So it's an inspiration just to know that someone from TC that transferred over to UC can actually now become a DR, a doctor in his field of expertise. So thank you so much, Dogo.
Thank you so much, Joe. Thanks, Cul-de-sac Podcast.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
Appreciate it.
Malo Pito. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Take care and God bless. What a great conversation we've had today with Dr. Sione Faletau. And one of the key aspects of it is that he studied for 12 years, 12 long years. And one of the big takeaways I took away from that was really around the whole thing of not giving up. But also, from what we heard from him, it was a relief just to get it done. And some of you may be sitting there thinking to yourself, you know, it's taking so long to finish this study. But like Sione said today, don't give up. Keep at it, keep pushing through, and also don't give up on yourself as well on the journey.
Stop that.